he gets out. He's like, you stay here. He tells me, stay in the car and don't get out. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And he tells Austin, you come with me. And at this point, I don't know if you guys have ever been, like, really, really, really fucking scared before, where you, like, I had never been this scared before, but I was pretty fucking scared. When you get that scared, your mouth dries out and you got, like, no taste in your mouth and there's, like, no saliva and shit. So I was pretty fucking freaked out at that point. I was like, you know, Austin may not ever come out of that apartment complex. So Austin goes in there with the crackhead guy. Hey, shut up, Emperor. I saw Emperor's ass once. Of course, I thought it was his face at first, but... Although it did have that Mario hat on it, so... That kind of gave it away that it was his face. Anyway, he goes inside, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't want to die out on the north side, because my roommate's an idiot. So I get out of the car, and I'm just like, I'm just going to start walking, and I'm going to walk until I get to a payphone, and I'm going to call somebody and get them to come pick me up. Even though I didn't know where the fuck I was. Hey, shut up. So I didn't know where the fuck I was. So I get out and I start walking. And I'm like, walking as fast as I can. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Fuck this. So then, a few minutes later, Austin pulls out of the apartment complex with the guy in the car. And he drives up and he's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? And I said, I'm going home. Fuck you. And he's like, get back in the car. And I go, like, get back in the car, man. I said, no, fuck you. I'm not getting back in the car. Austin said, so Austin talks to the other guy, and he says, the other guy says, we'll take you home and drop you off, and then I'll go with him to go get the parts. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting back in the car. If you start going somewhere besides back to the apartment, then fuck you, I'm gonna, like, kick the door open and jump the fuck out. So I get back in the car, and we start driving. And the guy in the front seat, he went into that apartment complex. When he came back out, I found out that he had bought something. He has this little piece of paper. It's all crumpled up and shit. So he opens it up, and he takes it out, and it's this little yellow rock of something. And I didn't know shit about drugs, so I didn't know what the fuck it was. I was like, okay, what the fuck is that? And I thought about it. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's crack. So basically, this guy saw a couple of dumb white guys that he figured, I can screw these guys out of some money and go buy me some crack. So he picks us up to do this. At this point, I'm still pretty fucking freaked out. We get back to the apartment complex. The guy's sitting here fucking around with his rock of crack there. And I get out of the car. Austin's like, I'll see you later. And I'm like, no, you won't. As soon as I got back inside, I called up my parents and I said, I told them what was going on. I said, that guy says he's coming back, and I don't know what the fuck's going on here. So, the lease was up by the end of the month, so I said, you know what, fuck this, I'm moving out. So I had my parents come over, help me grab all my shit, take it out of the house, take it over to my parents' house. I was like, fuck this. So I come back, and Austin doesn't come back, like, for the rest of the day. And at this point, I'm just thinking, I think Austin's dead. Because he went out with these crack dealers, and he's been gone all day. So then, like later that night, we both worked at a movie theater, and I was supposed to be there. He was supposed to be there too. So I go to the movie theater, and Austin's there, and he's like crying and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what happened? And he's like, well, they took me in the car and they took me around, and he said that they drove him around and made him help them sell the crack around town. And then they took him to a crack house, they made him come inside, and they offered him some crack, and he said he was afraid that if he didn't smoke it, then they were going to kill him. So, he smoked some crack. So, of course, a little bit later, I started calling him a crackhead and shit, but at the time, it was still pretty freaky and everything. You fucking crackhead. Only a crackhead would pierce his fucking neck. Anyway, they made him smoke crack. So, they finally let him go after that, and he says that the guy said, I'll see you guys later. I said, no, you fucking won't. So, I moved out of that apartment. I said, no, the crackheads know where we live. They've been inside the apartment because Austin let the dumb shit in. And, I don't want to live there anymore, knowing that there's crackheads that know where we live and know that, Austin's a moron. And Austin will be like, well, that's okay. Let's let bygones be bygones. We'll let him come back in. We can party with him. I think this is the same guy. My other two friends were sitting outside. We were all drinking, and they were outside sitting on the car, and this guy came up that sounds like it's the same guy. He came up and he's like, "Hey man, you guys want to buy a pager?" And he had all this obviously stolen shit he was trying to sell them. They're like, no thanks. And he's like, "Hey, you guys want some women?" No, that's okay. So apparently this guy does whatever he needs to do to get his crack. But that was my first run with crackheads, and that was my last. Cuts off here and there. Oh well, I'm recording it, so I'm going to post it on the site later. That was my experience with crackheads. And of course I didn't meet any more crackheads all the way up until Clan, Imperial Guard, and Silk. Not only is Silk a crackhead, he's gay! Okay, he's not really gay, but we've been calling each other gay all the time for some reason. It's funny. Okay, so there's that story. Emperor says Silk is gay. He posted pics of himself and other men in assorted sheep. Emperor, you need to put on your reading glasses or something. Those were pictures of his breakfast, not him and sheep. You know. Anyway. Alright. Crackheads smell like shit. Wow, that's very observant. You think they smell like shit? I don't know. I guess since we're already talking about that same time period, I'll tell you about the other guy that we lived with. It was me, Austin, and Theo. Theo, the guy that mumbles a lot. You're like telling him, "Theo, no, you can't do that because if you do that, this is going to happen." Okay. You're like, what the fuck? The thing was, when he got drunk... Actually, I guess I have a couple of stories about him being drunk, because he was fucking psycho when he was drunk. When he's sober, he was like really quiet. The guy, you can't understand what he's saying. He's sitting there mumbling in the corner and shit. But when he's drunk, he speaks clearly, and he's really, really violent. No, not Theo, the guy from The Cosby Show, unless Theo somehow pulled a reverse Michael Jackson and turned into a scrawny 90-pound guy who was about 6'2" or so, with googly eyes. Anyway, okay, one time we were drinking, and the first time I saw that he did fucked up shit when he drank was he got really, really drunk. We go to this party, and we're at the party, and everybody's just fucking around, and he walks in, and he like just pulls his fucking pants down and grabs a pillow and holds it in front of his wang, thankfully. He's standing there naked with a pillow over his dick, and he's shit-faced, and everybody's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Pull your pants up." He's like, "No way, man." And then, like, the TV was on, and someone had it on the Disney Channel, and he's like, "Oh, the Disney Channel." And he started putting his hand in his pants, watching the Disney Channel. Everybody's like, "Whoa, he's whacking it off to the Disney Channel." Of course, I was like, I'm gonna go now. Fuck this. Actually, this whole story's together. I just remember this was the same night that he was doing all the other fucked up shit. So, me and my roommates and my other friends had gone to this party all at the same time. So while he's sitting there whacking off to the Disney Channel, we say, "Okay, let's get the fuck out of here." So, we all decide, we tell Theo, "Okay, we're leaving now." He's like, "I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying here." Well, he puts his hand in his pants watching Minnie Mouse and shit. So we say, "Okay, fine, fuck you." So we leave. We go back to the apartment. And everybody's like, "How's Theo gonna get home?"